Welcome, everybody. My name is Bindia. I am the Executive Director of Leadership Tomorrow. I'm starting to take away the new. I used to say the new Executive Director, but I've been in this role for like 2 whole months now. So I'm like starting to take away the new. It's wonderful to be here with you all, and I hope there's some like bluish sky where you are because it's been raining like crazy off and on, but the sun is coming. So today our agenda is we're going to give you some quick intros. We're going to give you an overview of the flagship program. You'll hear from some of our alumni, and then we'll have a chance for Q&A at the end of the call. As we go through the presentation, please feel free to put questions in the chat. If they're like easy, snappy questions, we'll be able to respond to them right then and there. If they're kind of take a little bit of longer time, we will come back to them and take some more time with those questions. So on to the next slide. You all, this is Leadership Tomorrow's mission, vision, and values. And instead of reading them, I'm just going to say what I feel like Leadership Tomorrow is all about, which is making sure that leadership is no longer something that's a lonely affair. You all are here because you really truly care about the Puget Sound region, and you do that from so many different places, whether you work at a school, whether you work at a law firm, whether you work at a nonprofit, and everybody's got ideas and wants best for this region. And LT is really about helping you create a community of people who are doing this work from their vantage point, from their perspective, from wherever they sit in the region. And we're going to connect you so that you are feeling smarter about what this region's all about, so that you feel like you've got some more skills in terms of influence and having hard conversations and being able to show up as a leader. And most of all, that you're more connected because you've got this network of people who you can call on and who really get what you are trying to do. And they get invested in helping you really deliver on your life mission. So that's what LT is all about for me. And I am going to hand it off to the birthday girl to tell us a little bit more about what you really get out of LT. Go ahead, go for it, C. Marie.
Okay. Hi, y'all. Thanks for the birthday wishes. All right. So here's the thing that you get, I think, the most is actually hanging out and learning from really cool people and people that you normally wouldn't have the opportunity to meet. So I am a leadership program junkie. I'm originally from, I'm going to take that back, person who loves this program. Excuse me for reframing myself. Woo woo. I'm going to give myself a star for that. So I love leadership programs. When I was out in Maryland, I ran a program there. I've done it here. LT was the first thing I did when I moved to this area. Before I had an address, I called Leadership Tomorrow. I was like, hi, I'm coming. I love leadership programs. I know I'll meet really cool people and learn really interesting things about the region. I had a giant cup of coffee. I should slow down. I'll learn interesting things about the region. And so I need to do leadership tomorrow. So what you'll get if you apply for the program, get into the program, is this network of 2,800 plus folks who can show you things that you wouldn't think about. That is the biggest benefit. And you'll get to hang out with the other folks on this call from Leadership Tomorrow, and they're pretty fun. All right, what else will happen besides hanging out with folks? We have to learn some things, which is important, but we can have fun and learn, all right? So you'll get an opportunity to deepen your connection to this region. We set our program, so it's a 10-month program, right? And each month, we'll talk about one of the elements of a healthy community. So there are 7 elements to a healthy community. That's arts, that's the environment, that's neighborhoods, that's education, that's the environment, right? I think I said that art twice. When we meet each month, we'll take an element of a healthy community and really dissect it from an individual, interpersonal, and structural level and think about, well, how does the environment affect me? Right? How does it affect my family? How does it affect my community? What does it look like from the inside out? And then I'll ask the other people in the room their perspectives. So we'll have the opportunity to learn about the elements of a healthy community through the eyes of some expert people who come into the room to tell us, some experiential learning, and really you taking time to pause and think about these issues in a new and interesting way. because you'll have 8 hours to spend with a group of people who are focused on that and not all the outside noise. The bonus is that you'll learn this information with with this group of people and through an equity lens, right? So if we're talking about the environment, what does that mean for different communities, right? So that's one of the big things that you'll take away from this program, along with the 79 new friends that you'll make or connections. What we'll try to do is challenge your leadership level, right? So we're all leaders in this room. Let's think about once you come into the room, when you start the program, where are you going to end? How can you move forward? It's your opportunity to think about community, your leadership skills, and how you can take the information you learn from the panelists, from the cohort members, from the facilitators, and incorporate it to your leadership style, right? What do I want to learn from other people? And then what do I want to bring to how I show up at work, right? So, how do I think about being a leader based on what I learn? And it's really a low risk environment because we're all there learning and we can make mistakes like I did a few minutes ago. And there's some grace and space to um, move forward, right? And get different perspectives. So that's one of the things I love. I'm a curious person, really love learning. And so you have that opportunity to just advance your leadership skills no matter where you are. You could be a CEO of the company, you could be the person who answers the phone. There's still things for all of us to learn. You have that chance while you're in the program. So I talked about this a little bit. One of the things that we try to do at segments throughout the day and throughout the entire arc of the program is think about this work through a race equity lens. So we'll take the time to identify and integrate how systematic inequities shape our world, right? When we think about arts and culture, when we think about neighborhoods and communities, when we think about access to education, what does that mean through a racial equity lens? So there's a couple different ways we do that through some of the experiences that we'll participate in, through some of the speakers that you'll get to talk to, and we'll actually do racial caucusing. So at points throughout the program, you'll meet with other folks who are at different points in their racial equity journey and talk about, well, what does this mean to you when we talk about housing and housing opportunity and access, right? What does this mean to you when we talk about culture? And we had this great discussion on culture wars last month, right? And cancel culture. What does that mean? So you'll have the opportunity through racial caucusing to really advance where you are in inside around these issues, and then have some people to support you to figure out how you want to activate things that you learn. So you'll have that opportunity at different points throughout the program. And halfway through the session, we'll actually have an overnight retreat where we will spend a great amount of time actually talking, diving deep into even bigger than racial equity, individuality, right? And intersectionality and how we're showing up as individuals here in the organization, or not in the organization, in Leadership Tomorrow. So you'll take time because you'll have the opportunity to learn from folks and then really dive deep into some of the areas that you want to talk about when you think about race equity, inclusion, diversity. So that's a big hallmark of the program halfway through. All right, so let's talk about structures because I've given you all these bits and pieces. Let me try to put it in a container for you, and then we'll have some time for more questions. But if you think about the arc of the program, it's 10 months. It starts with an opening retreat where you'll get to know who are these 80 people in the room, right? Who are the volunteers? Who are the facilitators? You'll get to know everyone. So we'll start with this fall retreat where we'll learn perspectives, frameworks, what's our personal goals for the year? How do we create a sense of belonging? What are going to be our community agreements? Where are we on our racial equity experience and where do we want to move? And then we'll launch into these monthly possibility days. And so the monthly possibility days are each month we'll focus on one of those 7 elements of a healthy community that I mentioned. We'll do small group discussions. We'll do some race-based caucusing. We'll do some case studies. We'll have speakers. We'll do some experiential things, right? Where you'll actually get to go on tours, see things, create art. And then we'll have that mid-year retreat where we'll have focused and deep understanding of where we are in our racial equity journey and how we can have courageous conversations. And it's usually one of the most memorable aspects of the year because you get to really connect with folks. Throughout the year, you'll have a smaller cohort of 9 or 10 people who will be your leadership team. We call them leadership labs. And so in these smaller cohorts, you'll work on some professional objectives that you'll create at the beginning of the year. And then you'll do some service projects with that group so that you have an opportunity to really get out, see the community, but in a smaller group. And that'll be based on some of your interests. And that group will be your accountability buddies, right? So I say at the beginning of the year, I'm going to work on my inclusive language. They'll help tap me on the shoulder when I'm forgetting it, right? I'll check in with them. I'll ask for resources each time. And then we'll have a good time going out into the community and learning about a passion area that we have and do some actual community service. And then we'll end the year doing a presentation about that project that you did with your leadership lab. You'll talk about some of the things that you learned. And then we figure out how you're going to be the next wave of leaders from this experience that you had. So the last thing I'll talk about, or who are these people that are going to be in the program? So you'll have roughly 79 other participants from all different sectors, public sector, nonprofit, um, education, private sectors. Most of the class ranges between 25 to 60. So you've got a nice range of people and perspectives and lived experiences. In terms of other types of diversity, we usually have 45% people of color, which is lovely. And then they work and live around the Puget Sound. So you'll get the opportunity to meet people from different areas that you don't live in. And we will spend each of the sessions in a different part of the region, which is actually pretty awesome. I think I'm done for now. I think it's Aaron's turn.
Yes, thank you so much. Aaron Parker here, LT class of 17, and I'm currently serving as the chair of the screening and selection committee. So very happy to see you all here and interested in the program. Now let's talk about the application. So if you're interested to join this group that C. Marie talked about, the first thing you have to do is apply. That is due by April 1st. Hopefully you knew that. If not, now you do. April 1st is that deadline. And so after you apply, you're going to receive an invitation to a candidate orientation, which will be April 3rd at noon. And that's where we'll talk more about what to expect during the interview, and the attendance is not required but highly recommended. After you apply again, the next step will be to participate in that 30-minute interview. Every participant who applies attends an interview because those are the two pieces that we're going to be weighing. The application is a group of people that look at applications, and a group of folk that are looking at the interview and scoring those separately. And it looks like our interviews will run from April 10th to May 14th. And everyone who applies, it receives an interview. And we're going to move on to the next slide. All righty. So what do we look for in a candidate? So as you can see listed there, we work hard to put together a diverse group of leaders, and that group is diverse in terms of race, ethnicity, sector, geography. All those things are being factored in, and the people that you meet will be one of the best parts of this process with participating in the LT. And so those characteristics we have listed here on the slide: commitment to community engagement, leadership in their area of influence, curiosity, openness to multiple viewpoints, and a desire to broaden their perspectives, willingness to work in a multiracial learning environment, engage with others at different stages in their learning journey, and deepen their personal role in advancing racial equity. A strong interest in the curriculum and willingness to learn and practice LT values that Bendea talked about earlier. And reasons for wanting to participate in the program are beyond networking. So we definitely want that to show not only in your application, but also in your interview, that you're not doing this just to get the access to the network, just to get the plug for the new job, but you're doing this because you actually want to work on creating a healthier community for in the Puget Sound area, and you want to get it to the table with different people to start working on some of those solutions. Next slide, please. All right. and here we go. Tips on strengthening your application. So before apply, review the program schedule. It's important. Those are mandatory dates that we need you to attend. Um, Reviewing the website for details about the flagship program. So again, getting as much information as you can on the front end. I know there are candidates I met at one of our recruitment events talked about, I just got a new job. I'm not sure if this new job is going to allow me to participate in the program. So I don't know if I should apply. It's like, you don't want to miss April 1st, because once you miss that, there is no coming back. So apply for, even if you're on the fence, apply, because the way that we create the list is we have people that are selected, then we have our waiting list essentially. And so you being accepted and then deciding that you're not going to be able to do the program later in a month or after the interview isn't going to mean that we have somebody else that isn't going to participate in the program, because we have a list of people that we can go to. So don't let that stop you, please. When filling out your application, essay prompts have multiple parts. So make sure you're looking at that and responding to all parts. Similar to the interview, there'll be questions where there'll be multiple parts, very time limited. And so we're going to ask a question that might have multiple layers. If you only answer one layer, that is going to be your complete answer. So please be mindful of that. Always, you have an opportunity to ask people to repeat the question. So feel free, comfortable doing that. Be specific and authentic. Again, the people that are reviewing your application are not the same people that are providing doing the interview with you. So you want to make sure that you're showing and showcasing who you are as specific and authentic as you can to those different groups of people who are waiting the application or waiting the interview. So be authentic in that. Give yourself time. Again, April 1st is the deadline, but do not wait until Sunday to do this application, or Saturday, when you're like, oh, I'll have some time on Saturday to do it, but there's always inevitably something will happen. The computer crashes, your kid's sick, your friend has a birthday party you forgot about. Life happens. Hopefully it's the fun stuff and not like, oh, somebody broke their arm. We don't want that. But things come up. So get in there and get that application going as soon as possible, and do not wait till the last minute to get that done. All right, now let's talk about the dollars and cents. Tuition is $6,000. Financial aid is based on need, and it is available. All participants are expected to contribute to their tuition. So whatever financial aid we can provide, there will be some obligation from you as a participant to make sure that you're invested in it and have some skin in the game. We ask that you submit your financial aid request. When you complete the application, your request for aid is confidential, and LT doesn't look at those requests until the class is selected. So it's not like we're saying we only can have, of the 80, we only can have 30 people on financial aid. That is not how we operate. We want to bring in the best people for this cohort, and we'll figure out the dollars on the back end. Another great piece of why I love LT and continue to participate and volunteer my time is because they're always being thoughtful in that way. Again, applications are due April 1st. Application fee is $100. And if the $100 for the application fee is a burden, you can email Megan to request a scholarship for that piece. And again, we interview everyone who applies. A set of people will be reading the application and scoring the application, and then a set of people will be doing your interview and scoring that, and then they're going to come together and give you a final score that's submitted to LT, and then they do all their magic. Megan and Medea and C. Marie, they do all their magic and create that cohort. And I just do what they tell me to do. But I love it. And I hope that you all will join us in applying for the program. The next is we are going to give alumni a chance to share their experience so that you can hear more about that. Please do feel free, again, to drop any questions you may have in the chat. If you're jotting down on a piece of paper, feel free to raise your hand. We'll get to you for the Q&A. But let's first start with Sandra Wong, who is LT'25, and she will share some of her experience.
Thanks so much, Erin. It's nice to see so many happy faces on my screen here. My name is Sandra Wong. I am an alumni of LT. My program was with C. Marie from last year. And I wanted to come to today's session and share some of the gifts that I think Leadership Tomorrow has given to me. Some examples. Well, let me go back and share my personal goals of why did I sign up for Leadership Tomorrow. That leads to the gifts and the highlights for me. So my personal prompting for signing up for Leadership Tomorrow is centered around my love for the city of Seattle. I currently work for the city of Seattle government. And I have been working there in the job, moving around in that organization, learning, growing. And I felt at a place personally where professionally I was plateaued. Been in that job a while. I felt very competent, accomplished, but I very much realized that I was working in a silo. Knew the organization well, but I knew there were other organizations and people out there beyond the walls of my office. And I didn't know how to get there, how to outreach to other City of Seattle organizations and people to do that networking. And so Leadership Tomorrow provided that platform for me to create those relationships, conversations that I am still very much in contact with some of my peers in my same Leadership Tomorrow program from last year. I think we're going to be lifelong friends because we spent so much quality time together in the possibility days that grounded me in creating that relationship and helping me to learn about those other organizations around the city. Because I really wanted to be on a board of another organization in the city to help grow and to challenge myself, to be in a place of learning new things. And at every possibility day, every retreat, I would walk in quite frankly with low expectations. I know this subject. What is Leadership Tomorrow going to add to my knowledge bank? I had very low expectations, and pretty much every day I would walk out of those doors with a new learning, a new saying, a new terminology that I had no knowledge about. And so it would blow my mind in different ways to make me challenge myself and grow. And Leadership Tomorrow, on top of that, I think C. Marie mentioned this as well, is a place where I could try new things, new skills that I couldn't try out in my job during the day. Gave me a very safe platform to try using that new terminology, that new leadership model, that new pivot that I want to see. Can I use this, try it on, and feel comfortable with it, right? That's how I chose to use Leadership Tomorrow. Can I lead a team in its communications? You have to know I'm very much an introvert. I like being in the background. And so for me to step up in my Leadership Tomorrow lab team to say, I will take care of communications was a leap of faith for me. The team trusted me and we were off to the races. But again, at work, they would probably turn me down because I was siloed. That's not what I'm known for. And so quit trying to break your box and try something new. So if you're in the game of trying new things, asking questions, being uncomfortable, being able to admit some mistakes and say, my bad, won't happen again, learn it and grow it to something else bigger and better, then Leadership Tomorrow is all for you. How it's added to my leadership for right now is I find myself a much calmer, easier leader in my group. I am just more trusting of the team and a great listener of the team as a result of learning teamwork in Leadership Tomorrow. It has built and grown my skills in that way that I think is very noticeable, that I appreciate Leadership Tomorrow for. So I would encourage you all to apply and try getting into this program. It is a competitive program on purpose. They want the best of the best and they want diversity. And so bring it. Okay, Erin, back to you, or C. Marie.
Back to me. We will, let's see, start looking at the chat.